Toru Akora is a jobless troublemaker with no particular skills. One day he goes to search for food in the woods when he meets a mysterious girl named Chaika Trabant. She mistakes him for a bandit at first as strangely carries a coffin on her back. Chaika is also a young wizard who speaks very little. Suddenly the two are interrupted by a dangerous unicorn, and they both flee together. They decide to come up with a plan for Toru to distract the monster so that Chaika can defeat it with a spell from her X-Magic Gundo sniper rifle. After they manage to defeat the monster, Chaika thanks Toru by giving him a meal. But soon after, Toru's sister Akari arrives and calls him lazy. Meanwhile, Alberic Gillette and his soldiers from the Gillette Corps meet Roberto Abarth, a hero who fought against the Gaz Empire years ago, seeking an item from the war. Abarth refuses their request. Later, Chaika hires Toru and Akari to steal something from Abarth's mansion. That night, the siblings, along with Chaika, sneak into the mansion but are confronted by Abarth, who mistakes them for thieves working for Alberic. As Abarth is about to use his magic against them, he suddenly recognizes Chaika and is taken aback. Abarth is surprised to see Chaika alive, believing she was dead. After escaping from him, Chaika explains that Abarth's mansion is enchanted with Gundo magic, allowing him to control everything inside. The only way to stop it is by destroying its magic source. Toru distracts Abarth while Chaika and Akari search for the source. Eventually, they locate the item Chaika seeks, a severed left hand in a jar. As they leave the mansion, the trio is ambushed by the Gillette Corps, demanding they surrender Chaika and the magical hand. Akari takes Chaika to safety while Toru, holding the jar, leads the Corps on a chase through the city before facing off against one of their members, Nikolai Autotor. Alberic, Vivi Holopainen, and the Corps magical vehicle soon corner Toru. Alberic reveals that Chaika is actually Chaika Gaz, the daughter of Emperor Arthur Gaz of the Gaz Empire, whose death ended the war. They fear that if Chaika's existence becomes known, loyalists might try to resurrect the Gaz Empire with her as their leader, sparking another war. In addition, Emperor Gaz's remains are potent sources of magic. Toru remains steadfast, and Chaika uses her magic to help him escape. Once safe, she explains her mission to gather her father's remains for a proper burial. Toru and Akari decide to assist Chaika, earning her gratitude. The trio is on the hunt for another one of the 8 heroes who possesses a part of Arthur's remains in Ipsum town. Unfortunately, Chaika's coffin is attracting unwanted attention, so Toru covers it with cloth. Meanwhile, the Gillette Corps gets a message from their bosses at the Kleeman Agency saying they can't send reinforcements. During lunch, Chaika and the others find out that Ipsum's ruler, Dominica Skoda, also one of the 8 heroes, lives nearby in a dangerous forest. The Gillette Corps reaches town and starts tracking Toru, Akari, and Chaika. Dai, a young man who communicates via hologram and is Chaika's informant, tells them where Dominica lies and where to find an abandoned magical vehicle for transportation. After fixing up the vehicle, Chaika admits she was out of the country when her father died and doesn't remember the war. The female knight introduces herself as Dominica Skoda and invites the trio to stay in her mansion. Toru suggests they peacefully ask Dominica for Arthur's remains, and if that fails, they'll use force. But Chaika hesitates because Dominica saved them and has been kind. The next day, Toru requests Arthur's remains from Dominica. Surprisingly, she agrees but challenges them to a fight. As they get ready, they notice something odd about Dominica since she didn't recognize Chaika, one of the 8 heroes. During the battle, Toru and Akari fight Dominica in their powerful forms, but struggle to beat her. Toru realizes that they're not fighting Dominica, but her dragoon in disguise and forces it to reveal its true form. Together, Toru, Akari, and Chaika defeat the dragoon. It explains that Dominica died after the war, but it couldn't forget its master. Keeping its word, the dragoon gives them Arthur's eyes and decides to join their journey in the form of a girl named Frederica. Heading to Perimrol town, Toru, Akari, and Chaika are attacked by a red-armored sword fighter and her 2 friends. Toru captures the fighter and is surprised to see she looks like Chaika, but with shorter hair. Chaika Trabant is taken by Red Chaika's friends, and both groups run when the Gillette Corps shows up. After offering her food, Red Chaika, whose name is Chaika Bowden, admits she's Emperor Arthur's daughter. Unlike their Chaika, Red Chaika wants to use her father's remains for revenge against the 8 heroes and those who abandoned him during the war. Meanwhile, Red Chaika's friends tell Chaika there are other girls claiming to be Emperor Arthur's daughters. Elsewhere, Wizard Matthias Calloway and Catboy Leonardo Stola try to find Toru and Akari, but stumble upon Red Chaika's friends. Eventually, they agree to exchange prisoners, and the 2 Chaikas meet face to face. Tecatrices controlled by Matthias attack during the prisoner exchange, causing David and Selma Kenworth to flee with Chaika while Toru, Akari, and Red Chaika fight them off. They return to their vehicle where Frederica is waiting. Toru and Akari plan their next move while waiting for Akari to return from arranging the next exchange. Meanwhile, the Gillette Corps, ordered by the Council of 6 Nations, deal with farm riots, much to Gillette's frustration. As they wait, Red Chaika asks Toru why he helps White Chaika and offers him a spot in her group. They meet in Perimrol for the hostage exchange, where Toru refuses Red Chaika's offer. Leaving town, Chaika wonders if she's truly Chaika Gaz, but Toru reassures her that she's real. Red Chaika and David propose joining forces to find Arthur's remains faster. However, when Red Chaika suggests there can only be one Chaika Gaz, meaning she wants to eliminate White Chaika, Toru and Akari refuse, leading to a fight and their escape. Toru worries about dealing with both the Gillette Corps and the other Chaikas as they move forward. Dai tells Toru and his group that the hero, Simon Scania, was last seen at the Valley of No Return 4 years ago. Though before they can act on this information, the Gillette Corps ambushes them. They escape using Frederica's dragoon form. Upon reaching the valley, they see it's filled with magical fog. As Chaika starts descending the valley wall, the others follow. Suddenly, the rock collapses, and they fall into the fog. Akari, Chaika, and Frederica, protected by a barrier, watch as Toru struggles with an illusion. Frederica only managed to shield Akari, and Chaika, leaving Toru vulnerable to the magic. They wait, and Toru eventually finds his way into the barrier, breaking free from the illusion. Reunited, they continue along the valley and find the machine causing the fog. After destroying it, they encounter Simon, who is now mad. Simon confesses that he created the fog machine to make others feel the betrayal he experienced when his wife and best friend turned against him. They retrieve Arthur's leg from the machine and leave Simon in peace. Comrade Steinmates, the head of the Kleeman agency, asks Alberic to take a break from searching for Chaika Trabant. Alberic decides to research Emperor Arthur, but the lack of solid evidence raises doubts about his mission. Meanwhile, Toru and his group meet the Neo-Gaz Empire, led by a blonde girl they call Princess Chaika. While Chaika becomes friends with the princess, Toru, Akari, and Frederica grows suspicious of the group. That night, the princess attempts to rob a nearby mansion, but falls into an ambush. Toru's suspicions are confirmed when they are attacked by Neo-Gaz's men. They easily defeat the group, who confess their former Gaz Empire citizens turned thieves after being abandoned by the Six Nations. Toru wants to leave, but Chaika pleads to save the fake Princess Chaika, whose real name is Julia. Toru and his friends rescue Julia, earning gratitude from her and her companions. Toru is disappointed that these former Gaz citizens know little about their emperor. Meanwhile, the Council of Six Nations decides to tackle a rebellion led by Duke Gillard Gavarni, who controls a floating fortress. Low on magic fuel for their vehicle, Toru's group attempts to restock but discovers local shops are out due to celebrations for the anniversary of the war's end against the Gaz Empire. Chaika suggests using her memories as a substitute, but Toru refuses upon learning she loses them afterward. Meanwhile, the Gillette Corps marks the anniversary before being called for an emergency mission. While searching for fuel, Toru shares his childhood with Chaika. He and Akari grew up in Akora village, training as saboteurs. Despite wanting to join the Gaz Empire war, his mentor Shin warns him against recklessness. Toru recalls Jasmine, a woman from a traveling merchant convoy who became like family. When bandits attacked the convoy, Toru found a dying Jasmine, whose death deeply affected him. Despite villagers avenging the attack, Jasmine's loss profoundly shaped Toru. He advises Chaika to cherish her memories. Finally finding fuel, they discover Duke Gavarni of Iveco obtain one of Arthur's remains and decide to investigate. Upon arriving at Iveco, Toru notices something odd. There are no young girls in town. Moreover, there's a shortage of magic fuel despite the region's famed fuel mines. They discover Duke Gavarni hoarding the fuel for his floating fortress, Sora, while his soldiers abduct girls, never to be seen again. Toru's group infiltrates Sora, with Akari disguised as a local girl. She unwittingly aids Toru, Chaika, and Frederica's entry, unaware that Vivi and Zuida also snuck in. Meanwhile, the council plans to confront Duke Gavarni with their own fortress, Stratus. Conrad warns Alberic to rescue Vivi and Zuida before the council attacks Sora. Toru's group seeks Sora's magic engine, but falls into a trap set by the Duke's soldiers. Toru and Chaika flee, but Frederica is injured, and Akari is captured. Akari faces the wizard, Grad Lancia, and Ricardo, the Duke's son, who confesses to killing his family. Grad controls Akari's mind, forcing her to fight her friends. Toru and Chaika meet Layla, who pretends to seek their help but leads them into a trap, capturing Chaika while Toru confronts a controlled Akari. Vivi and Zuida save Toru, and they agree to team up to find the others and flee Sora. Meanwhile, Layla brings Chaika to a room where she reveals she knows Chaika's identity. As Toru, Vivi, and Zuida explore the fortress, they uncover the grim truth about the captured girls. Ricardo tortured them, and Grad uses their painful memories as fuel for Sora's magic. Layla discloses that she's also a Chaika and reveals a shocking truth to Chaika Trabant. None of the Chaikas are the real Chaika Gaz. They were created with false memories of being Arthur's daughter, each with different personalities, skills, and a drive to collect Arthur's remains. Chaika refuses to believe Layla, who explains she chose her own path after learning the truth and helped Ricardo restart a war for revenge. Frederica arrives to rescue Chaika, but is killed by one of Grad's creations. Meanwhile, Alberic tries to persuade the council forces captain to delay his attack to allow their escape. When he refuses, Alberic threatens him. Vivi and Zuida confront a mind-controlled Akari, and the Duke's men while Toru rushes to save Chaika. The Stratus commander ignores Alberic's pleas and orders it to attack the Sora. During the battle, Suida breaks Akari free from Grad's control. The fight between the Sky Fortresses damages the Stratus severely and causes the Sora's cannon to misfire, hitting Alberic and Alliance forces by mistake. All that's left of Alberic is his sword, found by Leonardo. Despite learning her true past, Chaika decides to keep seeking Arthur's remains. Layla suggests crashing Sora into Cadwell, but Stratus intervenes, crashing both into the lake below. Akari heads to the bridge, defeats Grad, and frees his minions. Chaika encounters Layla and Ricardo, nearly meeting the same fate as the kidnapped girls until Toru saves her. They retrieve Arthur's leg, but Layla shoots Toru. Chaika shoots Layla, saving Toru. They escape with Frederica's help before Sora sinks. Layla, gravely wounded, joins Ricardo to die together. Vivi and Suida learn of Alberic's death and warn him. Meanwhile, Vivi's hair and eyes change color in grief. Chaika reveals her origins to Toru, Akari, and Frederica, vowing to continue their quest. They agree to help and drive off to their next destination. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.